No Time to Die. This film was worth the wait. Let's get right into it. Now, as you may know, I am a big James Bond fan. Ever since I was younger, way back in the 2000s, playing games like GoldenEye N64 or 007 Nightfire, Bond's been there for my life from the very beginning. Yet, it was all in the Pierce Brosnan era, which will always be a nostalgic time for me. And it was also the time that I didn't fully comprehend what James Bond really was, thanks to the movies that were most likely about the action rather than the story. Not that it's a bad thing when Bond doesn't focus on the storytelling, but when it does, it's infinitely superior in my eyes. Also, I've watched all the Bond films at this point, including the unofficial Never Say Never Again, making that 26 Bond films. And I can safely say that James Bond is much better when you make him at his most vulnerable, make him a more developed three-dimensional character than is a, one-note super spy that's damn near perfect, like we always see him from almost 60 years worth of movies. I mean, Timothy Dalton grew on me so much because of his brilliant portrayal of Bond sticking closely to what Ian Fleming imagined, and Pierce Brosnan was close before getting into Sean Connery or Roger Moore feelings at times. I'm simply saying that Daniel Craig is the best James Bond, hands down. This movie amplifies what I love about the Craig era Bond movies. The story was very interesting, fun, and emotional. The direction and cinematography for this movie was so beautiful. The action scenes are awesome as Bond films go. The cast did a splendid job, and Hans Zimmer knocked it out of the ballpark with the score. It's all of what I expected for a Bond film, but it's also what I didn't expect for a Bond film. The film wraps up everything in a bittersweet package, and I've just found myself really loving this movie to be one of my favorites from beginning to end because of how the story is still connected. Continuity is pretty much an important factor when it comes to storytelling, and I just love how the Craig era movies are the best at it. I mean, regardless of the flaws in some areas, but you can still figure those out if you know what's going on with James Bond's character. And acknowledging these movies that I grew up with since 2006, it makes it even more investing for me. And even referencing past Bond films before Craig's era, On Her Majesty's Secret Service being the most notable movie, and it just gets even more emotional near the end. Like, no joke, without spoiling what really happens in the movie, which most of y'all probably seen it by now, or y'all probably haven't, but the movie is available on rent for now. This finale broke me. I cried at the ending of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 when I was 13 years old, having growing up with all the Harry Potter films at the time, and having to burst out into tears loving the ending and that movie as a whole. There were many times where I cried in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and that's still my favorite movie in the Jurassic Park franchise so far. And I got the same feeling of Deathly Hallows when it came to Rise of Skywalker when I was in the theater 2 years ago when I watched that film. And yes, it was very flawed, but I pretty much loved the experience of watching that film in the theater and being on that journey of Rey and Kylo Ren getting the emotional closure they have gotten. Flawed, but still good. But No Time to Die's ending was really freaking emotional. Or better yet, just right on par with Deathly Hallows Part 2, or even more than that, because it's been there from the beginning. I really love James Bond so much, and trust me, if you were there with me watching this film, you'd be seeing me as a sobbing mess when this ending hits. Like, literally, I guess you can say that the film is going to resonate with me forever because of it. After the first viewing, I had to watch it again a second time, and then after that, I watched it a third time. 3 times, and the movie still succeeds with me. And the more I watch it, the more things I notice that I miss, and it was really great to understand more and more of this film. And I'm also saying this as a Bond fan who has seen all the movies, and like I said, including Never Say Never Again, making that 26. And, okay, I'm gonna get to a rant. It honestly legit upsets me that people actually really think this movie is bad. Never in my freaking life I have seen this much hatred for a movie since what happened with Spectre, and that film I will never understand the hate that film has gotten. Now, of course, people have their opinions, so it's just love or hate, but it doesn't matter. But it's really how people are treating the film based on people who are not meant to be trusted. It's safe to say that there is no woke trash thrown in this film or shoved in nonsense like in some movies. I've hated movies like Space Jam: A New Legacy for kind of going into things like that. I'm guilty of having to criticize movies for the same certain decisions made, but No Time to Die never had a moment when I was really ready to hate the film's guts or some crap like that. Everything was handled so freaking well, yet people have the nerve to twist things around, make money off of this dumb platform, YouTube, and banking off of hate to push their dang agendas, the very thing that they hated seeing the other film writers in the film industry do. No Time to Die didn't pull a Ghostbusters 2016, so shut up and let me enjoy the movie. Thankfully, I did. And all that controversy was proven all for nothing. And another thing I started noticing, it's a parallel between this film and Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Both movies that basically take more inspiration from the books it's based from, and people get bent out of shape because the film decides not to repeat the same things they regurgitate over and over again. It's like they get mad when Spectre did it, but what's the problem with No Time to Die? They still get mad that they basically decided not to try to be like the same movie that they were already used to. Like, Spectre got so much hate for being closely like a formulaic James Bond film that everybody grew up with. And it's just, I don't get it really, but that's the point. I just really stopped caring because if I love the movie, that's all that matters. I could go out all day talking about how much I love this movie because I just want to make this short and I didn't want to go too deep into this movie. I do understand what these people really wanted to go for with Daniel Craig's final role as James Bond. But for every decision, whether it be the small stuff or the huge stuff, it was all well earned. And I really love this movie. And I love when movies take risks. Last Jedi did it, and it was one of my favorite Star Wars films of all time. So it's going to take a lot of potential to get to the same height as the Daniel Craig era films when future James Bond films continue to come out. But for now, Daniel Craig's Bond will forever go on to showcase that even if we have our favorite Bonds, nobody does it better than him. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please freaking check out No Time to Die. It is a damn good Bond movie and an emotional one. And if you've seen all the Bond films, you'll understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, that's it for this. See you guys later.